Vicky, it's so good to have you here. I know you're taking time out from your busy schedule. You were on stage last night in Home I'm Darling. You're on stage tonight. That's why you're not live in the Hive. How's it going?
Oh, so well. It's so nice to be home. So we rehearsed the show in Keswick, which was beautiful, and then we opened the Scarborough, which was equally stunning, and now we've come to Bolton, which is home. So for me, I'm able to be at home, be in Manchester. I've worked at Bolton Octagon quite a lot. It's just been refurbed. The building's just been opened after sort of 3-4 years, so it is fantastic to be there. Although it's a little bit like going to a house that you used to live in and someone else has moved in and done things differently. So it was really almost overwhelming to go back to the Octagon and see it so different, particularly backstage. They've made the theatre accessible, so it's not as different for the audience in terms of the theatre is pretty much the same structure. There's just some new, really comfy seats, which is a bonus, and some more toilets, which is a bonus. So
Always a
yeah,
bonus.
it's just great to come back to Bolton.
I have been to the Octagon many times. I absolutely love the theatre. What I find is you kind of get close to the action. It has amazing productions on there, and there's a real, I don't know, there's like a heart and a passion at the Octagon, and you can feel it as a member of that audience. I don't know if you get that as well, Vicky, as a performer.
I couldn't agree more. It's like this play was on at the National Theatre in London a few years ago, and then Bolton have done it. And we were talking about it last night at the National. It's huge. The stage is huge, and it's a big, you're far back. And this play is very intimate. It's set in a living room. It's smaller dynamics in terms of its subtle dynamics. And so to do it there where the audience are literally, you can see the handbags on the front row and you have to step over the feet as you come on. That's almost to me like how this play should be seen, in that kind of intimacy. And then it's in the round as well, which is a fantastic experience if you've done that as an audience member, to just get different angles and see things.
It's
Like
brilliant. And like you say,
over the shoulder. And
I think it is a great fit for this show. Now, tell people at home what Home I'm Darling is about, because I just think this is a cracking story.
It's such an interesting premise. So the writer was really interested in people that dress in the kind of vintage era. So choose an era and kind of go full pelt with that. So she watched a documentary about a woman who chose to live her life in the 50s. It's set in 2018 when she wrote the play. And the central character has decided to be a 1950s housewife. She started doing the dress, doing the look, having vintage things. She's done her whole house. Everything's original 1950s. Her husband goes out to work. He earns the money. She runs the home. And it's really interesting to talk about just relationships, so everyone can relate to it in that respect, but also the politics of it and what feminism is in terms of being a housewife, but making that choice to do that, and that now in the modern world being a luxury choice to be able to stay at home. And then particularly with everyone being at home so much more because of COVID, it's really interesting to think about what that is to shape your world around your home and make that matter, and have more time to yourself and do those things that people might have done in the 50s, but then see whether that's really a bit nostalgic and a little bit naive as to what it actually was to live in the 50s. So there's lots of characters that come in and out and pose those questions about that choice. So that's what plays back. On top of that, it's a comedy as well, so there's lots of fun in there, and there's some fantastic costumes.
Well, we saw a picture of you then flash up, in full 1950s costume. So how does your character fit into that lifestyle then? So is she kind of like friends with the couple? Can you reveal anything?
Yeah, absolutely. So she is the best. She's a friend of Judy's, and she's a stylist. So she flirts with the 50s, loves doing the bit of a dress, but she hasn't wholeheartedly taken taken on the lifestyle of it. So her and her husband come round and they do the 50s thing at the weekend. So they kind of pose that. And she's a character, she loves her job, she loves her husband, she loves the she's just not sure in what order and which is more important in that story. So that's really fun to have that kind of dynamic with the husband is really desperately wanting her to be a 50s housewife, but she's a modern woman, she loves her job, all that sort of stuff. So it's a really
love
fun
it.
character.
Do you know what? Like you say, I think it will pose lots of different questions to the audience watching. And also, I think a lot of us will be jealous of those costumes. I have to say, full 1950s every night. I believe you wear a wig, don't you? You've got the puffy outskirts. Is that a bit of a dream? Do you take them home?
Yeah, well, at first it's always really stressful going into a costume fitting because you always feel like I've got insufficient hair. My hair's quite fine, so I'm like, oh no, my hair will be a challenge. And then kind of just wearing clothes that you necessarily wouldn't wear, and you can feel a bit uncomfortable, and there can be a bit of pressure. But this costume fitting was just so brilliant because actually that 50s stuff is really flattering and really fun to wear. So I've bought the trousers and the top. I've bought replicas of them, which is so unusual that you do that in a play. You normally, like you were saying, when I do early doors, I wore like a home knitted tank top. So I didn't buy another one of those. Do you know what I mean? So you know you're on a winner when you're doing a play where you go, I would actually wear this, and this actually looks better. Yeah,
Is that the tank top?
Look at that! How professional are you that you just whacked that out? Yes, that's the tank top. Do you see what I mean? I didn't bring that one home. I left that.
Oh, bless you. No. So you've got some nice costumes going on in this home, I'm Darling. And it's got a really good run. Because do you know what? When you get touring productions, it's really hard sometimes to catch them because they may be only on for a week. Now this, you've started it already. It runs till the 2nd of October. And like you said, you're back in Bolton. I think the Octagon's just round the corner from where you used to live as well, isn't it, Vicky?
Yeah, I'm from Bury, so it's like it's where I'm from. I've got parents, friends, family that can all come and see it. And the reason why it's longer than a normal tour would be is because this is a co-production with Scarborough, the Lakes and Bolton. So they have produced it together. Whereas in a touring theatre, you usually, like I've done a musical, and that's usually, like you say, you'll just go 1 week to, I think we went to the Opera House with that musical, because they don't tend to create their own work. They take in touring shows. So this has been funded and created by Bolton, Scarborough and the Lakes, which meaning that we're longer in the venue.
Oh, brilliant. And that must be good for you to touch base with family.
Yeah, I mean, it's like already thinking, oh my God, when you've got your family in and all your worlds collide, you know, you've got your family mates that you used to work with, some people that you know from previous jobs and all that sort of stuff. So it can be a bit strange to have people in. It's always a bit weirdly, it's always a bit more nerve-wracking when you've got people in that, you know. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is, because you're conscious, aren't you? You're like, what do they think? But what has the response been from the audiences? Because was last night your opening night?
Yeah, I knew it would be, because Bolton are just such a good audience. They're just up for it. They just come in. We get quite a lot of regulars at that theatre, and then similarly, people who've never been to the theatre before. We had that quite a lot in Scarborough, people who'd never been to the theatre before, and watching the show. And this is perfect for that, because it's entertaining and it's fun, and you can come away with lots of different opinions, and there's lots to talk about, but also it's just a good, fun, entertaining night out. So the audience has been fantastic. It's been amazing as well to see the theatres offered social distancing in the audience, with options, so you can come on nights where it's social distance, where it's mandatory to wear a mask, where it's advised to wear a mask. So they're really doing a brilliant job of offering it out to people and letting them choose what they feel comfortable with, and whether they would rather be in a socially distanced audience or not.
And that is great. I mean, because, it's still a testing time for someone, and some people
Mm.
are a bit hesitant, but giving them that options and to be back in a live kind of theatre and just see a performance. I mean, first time I went back to theatre, I just got goosebumps. There's nothing
Yeah.
like that. And I know you do a lot of theatre, Vicky, and, I think for a performer, getting that instant reaction is amazing, isn't it?
It definitely is, because that's what because you do it for the audience. You want the audience to be able to invest in that story, go along with the beats of the story, come out and have opinions of it and chat about it in the bar, and be together and be like, have the energy of that live performance where it's happening now, it's happening for the first time. Tonight will be different than tomorrow night, than the next night. So, and you feel the energy of the audience. The audience are different characters each night as well. Sometimes you get people who are really listening. You get some big laughers in there that encourage the rest of the audience. So, yeah, that's been really nice. And just to help people come back, but feel safe in coming back as well. They've done a fantastic job of that.
Oh, and you have done loads of theatre, over the years. I mean, one thing that I am very jealous of, I have to say, is my favourite musical is Singin In The Rain. And if I could ever play a part, it would be Lina Lamont. And you got that, girl. That's amazing. That's some role.
I am telling you, honestly, I wasn't aware of how brilliant that role is. And when I first got offered to audition for the musical, it was like, well, I can't audition for a musical because then I can't sing or dance. And then I can dance a bit, but I'm not a professional dancer or singer. So it was like, and then this character is actually a terrible singer. Like, this has got my name on it. I can do this gig. And because, as you say, it's the best part in it, because everyone else so much work and has to be so talented at singing and dancing, and you can come on and do it badly and get all the laughs. It was like a complete joy. And even just being in a musical, because I'm not a singer or dancer, it was like getting that chance to be on in that, something that is such a huge show and such a big operation, was unbelievable. It's definitely like up there in top 5
Oh,
jobs ever.
God, yeah. I'm gonna do the line for you, all right? Because this is my thing when I watch it. I have to do this line, and I can't stand him. And they go, can't, Kim. But I bet you can do it
Oh
much better.
no, I was going to play the other part there. Go on, you do it.
And I can't stand him.
Can't stand
Can.
Can't.
Can.
Okay, Lina, we'll hold it there. That's exactly it. I mean, me and my partner still, I always go, Jay, this wig weighs a ton. All the time. That's like our favourite line ever.
Just
And we
brilliant.
always quite often do the one where Don's going off to a party and she says, "See you there." So I quite often like to shout that out the window when my partner's leaving, or my family or whatever. I'll go, "See you there."
Great role, absolutely great role. Now, I can't let you go without talking about a role that you probably still get stopped in the street for, Coronation Street, Molly Binns. And I think as well, it wasn't just
Oh,
because I know
Molly
you've been in
Dobbs, I'm
Emmerdale.
Vicky Binns.
What's that? Oh no, Molly Dobbs.
I like Molly Binns though. That's a mashup of the two.
It is, isn't it? Really, it's like then meeting William Roach and calling him Ken Barlow. I absolutely did the wrong thing then, didn't I, Molly? Vicky.
Easy done, my friend. Easy done. You won't be the first or last. It's completely fine.
But I mean, I think, because of the way as well, she hooked up with Tyrone, the tragedy of the ending on the live 50th episode, the whole tram crash. I think that does stick in people's mind. Is that okay though, when they pass you still on the street and go, "Oh, Molly"? I mean, it's nearly 11 years, isn't it?
Yeah. When they passed me on the street and go, "I thought you were dead." It's ideal. It's absolutely fine. Like, it is. I mean, at 10, 11 years ago, like you say, which is really strange. So, in one respect, it feels like a whole lifetime away and a lifetime ago. And obviously, a lot's happened to me in 10 years. But it's just amazing that people do remember it and that, oh, there we go, you see. Like Alan there, see, we both look so young with his little baby face. And I absolutely loved working with Alan. He was like, he's just a complete joy to work with. And it felt like it came out of the blue to do Coronation Street because I'd chosen to leave Emmerdale and done some theatre. And it just didn't occur to me that I would then go on and do another soap. So to get that offer, and I went in for 3 months on a 3-month contract, and I ended up being there for 5 years and leaving on the 50th, like having that huge storyline on the 50th, which was like, I haven't done the 50 years, but I'll drink the champagne, you know, I've done the 5 years. So it's really kind of nostalgic to look at now. And a thing it's taken me a long time really, but to kind of look back and go, God, yeah, I really love that, and that was amazing, got that, because when you do it, you have to take it in stride. For me, that's the only way that I can do things, is just to kind of keep it small and keep it normal and go, well, you just do some scenes, just doing some acting, you know, forget about how many people are watching it, and just kind of, it just becomes your life. And then when you step away and realize how massive that show is and what it means to people, and that, like you say, the fact that people still remember that, it's kind of surreal.
And you went in there, you know, working in the kennels, and you don't even like dogs, do you? That must have been quite terrifying going in there and getting that part and thinking, was it one of those where in the audition, you know, when you say in auditions, oh, I can horse ride, I can drive a car, you know, and they said, do you like dogs? And you go, yeah.
It was that, well, it's not, I mean, I love dogs, don't get me wrong, in terms of like, I would love one and I think they're beautiful, and I have got better, but I got bitten by one when I was younger. So it's more that I'm frightened of dogs. Like, I think dogs are the most beautiful creatures and should be treated really preciously, but I'm frightened of them. And this was a character that was working in kennels, who was working with big, massive, difficult dogs. And I'm like, you know, I'm just twitching around them, and I'm much better now. At the time I was particularly twitchy, and the role came off the back of a TV show that I'd done with Jonathan Harvey, who's a writer for Corrie, and he wrote this show called Von Trapped with Caroline Quentin in it. So the producers had seen this show, and it was like a comedy show, and it was very much of the Corrie style of writing. So the job came from the back of that job. And when the producer spoke to me, said, we've only got one line that's dictating the character. We've got an idea for the character. And the line is, I love dogs, me. And that was the kind of like birthplace of that character, that someone that would go, oh, I love dogs, me. So I was like, oh, yeah, great, yeah, brilliant. And the character's going to be called Molly. It's called Ollie in Emmerdale, so I sort of like gained an M. But yeah, that was definitely doing all the stuff with the dogs, because as well, dogs are not, they're brilliant actors, as in they're always real, but they don't like to do what you tell them. So it was it was really tricky. Yeah, so many mishaps, and like take over and over and over again. And it's always like something will be written in the script, like the dog looks a certain way, or it jumps for something, or it grabs something. And you're always like, oh, it's going to be a long day, guys. But it was fun. It was so much fun to go in and do it.
Oh, brilliant. So this tour takes you up until, is it next year it'll take you up till, because you're moving on from Octagon?
October, the end of October we finish.
And what's the plans for that? Have you got anything that you're moving on to straight away? I know you love theatre, but we love seeing you on telly as well. The Mill was brilliant.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that was an amazing thing to be part of. Filmed like here in Manchester, kind of like a very dark version of Downton Abbey, you know, the opposite of Downton Abbey in terms of That's like a Sunday night feel. This was a gritty version
Yeah.
of Downton Abbey. I was thrilled to be part of that. Because of COVID and because of everything's happened, I've just spoke to my agent this morning, actually. She said things are just going really fast and then slow and slowing down. And I don't usually do a Christmas show, so I probably won't be doing that. But yeah, hopefully I've got something TV-wise in the future. But as with acting, you never quite know. You're just sort of thrilled to be working, going, oh, I'm back working, because obviously it was a long time that the theatres were closed. So I haven't got a solid answer for you there.
But no, brilliant. You know, we will definitely be seeing you on more shows, on more TV, because you are fantastic. You know, you've made me laugh times that I've seen you on telly, and that Early Doors. Gosh, that was amazing as that character. Honestly, I giggled so much.
That was a highlight of my life, because me and my dad used to watch Early Doors on TV, and it was our little thing, and it was quite a cult following, Early Doors. So we used to say, like, to the regiment and all the catchphrases and lines from that all the time. We absolutely loved it. And I heard that it was going to be a stage play, and my mum and dad booked tickets before I was anything to do with it to go and see it, and asked me if I wanted a ticket. Of course I do. We love that show. And then I got a call from my agent that they were looking for someone to play that part. So I was like, oh, there's no way I can't tell my parents that I'm going for the audition, because it'd just be too amazing to get that job. Went for the audition and got the part, and then to ring my dad and say, you know, the play that we're going to see, I'm going to be in it. Because my dad is more into trains than he is soaps. So Coronation Street isn't something that he would watch or would particularly mean anything to him. He doesn't often go to the theatre. He's incredibly supportive and a gorgeous man, but he likes steam trains and making walking sticks. But Early Doors was something that we really could share, so I literally cried when I rang my dad to tell him that I was going to be in
that. Must have been amazing.
And then for myself as well, turning up on the first day going, oh my God, I love these characters. I know this show back to front.
And even more iconic lines. Do you like circuses?
I love circuses, me. Oh, there's I love dogs, me there as well, isn't there? There's a northern comedy theme going on here that I'm more than happy to take.
Oh, brilliant. Do you know what? I've loved talking to you. Have a fantastic show this evening. I'm just going to put on the screen now how long it runs until at the Octagon, because if you can get to see Home and Darling, you're going to have a great night at the theatre. And make sure you give Vicky a big cheer at the end of it. Thank you so much.